Hello everyone and welcome to Fresh Reviews. I'm Tower, this is my lovely wife Moon, and that is the coolest pawn of them all, Ninth Pawn.
Yo, yo, yo.
Today we had the special treat of getting the bomb dropped on us that the Bad Batch pilot was coming out, which I was not expecting. I was thinking we might get an announcement, but apparently it came out today. So that was really cool. And not only did it come out, but it was 60 minutes?
It was 70. It was a good long pilot.
Yeah, it felt like, I'm gonna say this straight up out of the bat. My review on this is gonna be good for this episode. This was phenomenal, especially for an episode right out the bat. They came out swinging, guns blazing, and I am excited. That was a nice thing, and I'm excited to talk about it. So let's get right into it. So today we're gonna be covering stuff that is gonna be spoilers. So if you haven't watched it yet and you don't want to be spoiled, drop a like, comment, and then come back when you watch it, and then you can watch it without being spoiled. But warning, spoilers. We're going to be jumping around from the story from beginning to end, skipping parts just for brevity's sake, and then we will be giving a rating to it based on all of our opinions at the end. So here we go. All right. So the episode starts off and we got a nice little treat. I'm not sure if I'm right, but I'm pretty sure we see Kanan Jarrus and his master, right? Kanan was the one from Rebels?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure, yes.
Yeah. Because she didn't say Kanan, but I'm thinking he changed his name probably in Rebels to avoid getting murdered. And I'm pretty sure that was his master, and that was unexpected. It was a nice little thing, a nice little touch, and they're fighting on this planet. The Bad Batch comes in, does normal, awesome Bad Batch things that we saw at the end of the Clone Wars animated series, and it's just animation, voice acting is phenomenal as ever. And I think I mentioned this, because you've got this whole squad of guys right off the bat, plus the regs. The other clones, they're all one voice actor as far as I know, and yet you can actually tell them apart easily. There's no this voice is this. No, it's, as far as I know, that's all one voice actor. Comment if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's, as far as I know, that's one voice actor, which is crazy to think about if that's the case.
They did stick with the art style too.
Yeah, and they stuck with, so right off the bat they stick with the art style of the final series of the Clone Wars, which is good because that was always jarring when you started watching Rebels after Clone Wars, and everything was completely different, art wise. It was kind of this. Yeah. It's not this is necessarily bad, but my brain is okay, so this series is going to be viewed like this, and then they're surprise, everything's different. This time they didn't do that, and I am grateful for that.
And I really liked the animation in it. It was gorgeous.
It was absolutely beautiful. But so the Bad Batch saves the clones with I'm gonna say Kanan and his master, and then Kanan goes with the Bad Batch, and as he does, Order 66 starts. His master gets gunned down. Tells him to run, and then Hunter, the Bad Batch leader,
yes,
and the sniper,
Crosshairs.
Hawkeye or
Hawkeye.
Hawkeye.
Hawkeye
I don't think it's Hawkeye.
And yeah, Hawkeye. He goes after.
It's not Hawkeye. I don't remember what it was.
No, it's Crosshairs.
Crosshairs. It'd be great if it was Hawkeye. Goes after.
I've seen too many cartoons at this point and comic books.
Fair. Well, they go after him, and you start to see that Crosshairs is being affected by Order 66. I mean, at least to me, that was kind of the interpretation I got. He starts saying things like "good soldiers follow orders," and that's never been any of the Bad Batch's motto from what you've seen, the little bit we've seen in the end of the Clone Wars was like, that's not who they are at all. So like that was kind of sketchy. But Hunter tries to save the kid, ends up saving the kid, and now I'm gonna keep calling him Hawkeye. Thanks. 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 It's stuck in my head now. He's Hawkeye. Comment into why I'm wrong. He's Hawkeye now. Chat.
He's not Hawkeye.
Viewers. He's Hawkeye. Anyway. But they end up letting Kanan escape, sort of. And then we kind of get to Kamino, where they start piecing together, okay, the Empire is now here, the Republic is now gone. All the other clones are starting to be really sketchy. And I'm not going to go super in depth on this part because there's a lot of intricacies to it, and a lot of this is stuff that's been treaded on in like Episode 3 and other Star Wars content. But needless to say, this was a different perspective on it that I appreciated as the Republic transitioned over to the Empire. And it was really cool. I mean, I don't want to say too much about this part. Moon Knight, is there any specific parts in that segment that like you guys really want to talk about before they go on their mission?
No, I'm okay.
Not really. I mean, we're introduced into somebody new. I thought they felt familiar initially, but the other part of the story is unique, and you kind of start piecing the puzzle a little bit more.
Okay. You're talking about the child?
Yeah.
It's Baby Yoda! No. Yeah, so they meet a little girl that seems kind of off, and so she basically warns them after they. Yeah, she seems very off. It doesn't make sense that she's there. And then basically they have a run-in with Tarkin. He tests them, and then he sends them out on a mission to deal with some separatists. Now, while they're out there dealing with the separatists, they basically find out that they're not separatists. And I'm actually gonna let Ninth, I'm gonna let you take this part. Set the scene for what happens here. I'm gonna get that.
Yeah, what happened was they were set up. You know, they set up to take out separatists. Turns out that they were actually Republic fighters that had left. You know, the beginnings of the rebellion, and that's what kind of convinced them that they couldn't go along with what the Empire was doing.
Yeah, because they had been like fighting against this very thing for their entire, like, that was literally their purpose, and like that really goes to show you that like a lot of them weren't affected by the chip. But then you once again you start seeing certain tendencies in Hawkeye. Crosshair.
I didn't even have to say that was great.
That
definitely starts speaking up more.
This is not my fault, by the way.
Going on after Order 66 has been issued.
Yeah.
For sure. So you start seeing some differences there within the group.
Yeah. And it's totally out of character, but you know why. As a viewer, if you know about the inhibitor chips, you know what's happening and what this is building up to. And right at the end, Imperial probe droid shows up, so they know that they've been seen. And they decide at the end of it that they're going to go back to the clone station because they find out that the little girl is in fact one of the genetically enhanced clones. Which is interesting. She looks nothing like Jango Fett at all, but I guess she's a clone of someone else? Or maybe she's just a female clone of Jango Fett? I mean, if you have the power to clone someone enough to make a galaxy-spanning army, I guess.
Might have some tendencies to switch genders.
See, the vibe I'm getting from her is more will be revealed later, you know?
Yeah.
It's definitely a reveal later, and they definitely remind you that Echo, was not genetically enhanced.
Yeah. Well, he wasn't, because, like, in the Clone Wars,
In the Clone Wars, they do reference, oh, that's, how you got to be the way you are,
because he was an ARC trooper, if I remember correctly. He came to be an ARC trooper, and then he got blown up in the Citadel.
Yep. And then...
Because of Tarkin.
And I think Tarkin was portrayed well in this.
Oh my
They didn't go
God.
over the top, but they portrayed him as a bad guy.
He was that calm, calculated, dark undertone that he's been in any other Star Wars content. Tarkin was done well, and that was awesome. But Moon, I'm gonna have you cover this next part. So we're gonna skip past when they arrive. Basically, they end up getting captured. And then after they get captured,
Okay.
talk about when the breakout and what happens at the with them trying to escape. This is skipping a lot of content for those who are watching, but we don't want to spoil everything. But so go ahead now.
So they plan a way to break out, and they manage to break out because of some things they realized about the building itself. When they do break out, it's not like they're immediately found. They look for the gear. They still want to go back for Crosshairs because he's still part of the group. But they said, we can't go far without our gear. So they go, they try to find their gear because this new character knows where it might be. They said, well, bring all their stuff to the hangar. So they end up in the hangar, and while they're getting their stuff, they all of a sudden notice that Crosshairs is doing something. Now, Crosshairs is giving them an order. And he's been supposed to learn about this whole episode. Well, you were supposed to follow orders. You were supposed to do this. You never did. Why are we they have it out there. And I'm going to kind of leave it there.
Yeah. Okay.
Because I think what happens at the end is a decent surprise.
Yeah.
Considering other factors aside from Crosshairs being there and watching.
Okay. So with that in mind, we covered a decent amount of the story here. We don't want to spoil everything, but we're gonna go ahead and give our official ratings 1 out of 10 and our reasons why. And once again, this may spoil more things because we gotta give the why. So Moon, go ahead and start. 1 to 10 and why. And a follow-up question: what would you like to see in the next episode?
I'm gonna give this a 7. Partially because for a lot of people who've watched the Clone Wars and gone through that whole series, and seen them comparatively to this episode. The other thing is there's some slight confusion for those that don't even know who that is and are watching this for the first time. There's definitely some confusion there. They do try to give you the story of how they came out in a way, but like I said, the confusion, it played out really well, especially with their conflict with Crosshairs within the group, and the other conflict that's going on with Tarkin and I can't think of the name.
The Kaminoans?
Yes, the Kaminoans. There's some conflict there as well, but I would say overall 7.
7. That's not bad. That's not a bad rating. And what is it you'd like to see in the next episode?
I would like to see a little more information, maybe the Bad Batch figures out a little bit more as to what's going on with Crosshair.
Yeah.
Because they seem really busy on getting him out of there, even though he was against them ever since Order 66 was given.
Okay. Alright. Cool. Alright, 9th.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and give this debating, but I'm gonna give this an 8.
Nice.
I really liked this. The art was beautiful. The story was easy to follow, and for a thing that does like a team of individuals, like a whole squad, they distinguished each of the characters enough that you knew what each character was, what their name was, and what they were doing. Like Wrecker's completely different from Echo and
Wrecker's
Crosshair,
the
and
best.
yeah, and then Hunter. They're all individual. In tech, they're all individual people, and they portrayed that well.
All right, cool. And what is it you'd like to see most in the next episode?
Just more of a story that's kind of true to the period. I mean, this is not a bright period of Star Wars history.
No.
And I like that this first episode isn't rainbows and unicorns.
It's dark.
Because that's not what they're dealing with.
Yeah, it's dark. It's definitely dark. All right. For me, 9 out of 10. This was awesome. I felt like I was watching a movie. I felt like I was, I was sitting in the living room with the lights off, but I felt like I was watching a movie. I was just like super excited. This is a period that like we've seen, but we've never seen from this perspective before. Artistically, it was beautiful. Voices and everything. Voice acting was on point. It was exciting. It was really exciting. There was no moment where I was sitting there, I was like, well, why is this in here? I thought when I saw the little girl, Omega, I think her name's Omega?
Omega.
I thought I was gonna be so annoyed. I was like, here's the part for the little kids to get involved with the show. No! I'm gonna drop another spoiler here, but she shoots a guy straight up. Like, this character is not for the little kids. Like, she straight up shoots a guy.
Yeah.
And it's not played off to be rebellious or anything like that, which you'd see in a lot of edgy stuff. There's a reason for it. And it's handled very well. It's done very well. And if this is a sign of how this series is gonna go, I'm in. I'm definitely in. I'm very excited to see where we move from here. 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10. And then for me, I can't believe I'm saying this because I started into this when we met the character assuming that she was gonna be a pain in the rear end, but like a catering to the kids. But I want to see what's up with Omega. I really want that story uncovered because it's like I feel like there's something more there. And then as a secondary thing, I want Echo to get to meet up with Rex somehow. Because that was like a whole thing throughout all the Clone Wars until they separated. It was like they were like brothers in battle in a war for years, So that would be kind of cool to see that connection. But other than that, I'm excited for the next episode on Friday. So we got a 9, a
9, a 7, and an 8.
7 and an 8.
Which puts it at an 8 because we each went 1 point away.
Perfect. So there we go, an 8 for this Fresh Reviews rating. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed this Fresh Review, and if you did, drop a comment. Tell us what you thought about it. What would you like to see more? And what you thought of the episode. What would you give it on a 1 to 10 if you've watched it? Or if you haven't watched it based on what we heard here, what would you give it out of a 1 of 10? All right. Thanks. And
Tell us why Tower's wrong.
Hey, I'm never wrong. Make sure to drop a like, comment, share it with all your friends, and we will see you all next time here at Fresh Reviews. Bye! Special thanks to our patrons, Blue Phoenix, Louie, Drew, Hollowed Zen, Antiox, Kazlor, Ninth Pawn, AJ, Evil Gummy Bear, A Knight Errant Gravy Train, and Suboptimal Preservation Society. Thanks, guys!